If you've ever wanted to take down human-controlled gunships on a faraway alien planet while flying a winged beast you decided to call Carol, then Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora is the game for you. Hey everyone, it's Carol. I just had the opportunity to play Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora early at Massive Entertainment in Malmö, Sweden. Now, if I'm being honest, I'm much more excited for Star Wars Outlaws, which is also being made by Massive, which is why this was a great opportunity to see what they've been building, to see what they've been working on, and see what they could potentially bring to Outlaws. And I think this is also why Ubisoft invited me. Why? And I have to honestly say, there is a lot here to be impressed about. This Avatar game was never really on my radar. People are calling it a blue Far Cry, but that's not really a problem because from the 1.5 hours I got to play, I have so much to say about this game and also Star Wars Outlaws, and also specifically Carol, my new friend. But also, before I get into Avatar and Outlaws, it was pretty epic to explore Massive Entertainment, to see where they're actually making these games. I was up to my usual mischief, nearly getting kicked out of the building upon entering. They'd set up some decorations for Avatar, as you can see, and also gave a few presentations about the game. The main thing I learned, you can get struck by lightning. I haven't actually seen it happen, but they said it can happen, and that's amazing, and hopefully Carol survives the encounter. Also, apparently you can fly above the clouds in the game. We're gonna get into the day-night system and all that stuff. So my gameplay session started about 2 hours into the game, just walking around in the wilderness. And there were a few things that struck me immediately, apart from the creatures that came out of nowhere that made this thing feel at times like a horror game. First of all, graphically, this thing is as impressive or as good looking as any current gen game. It looks like a truly current gen or next gen game, whatever you want to say. It's got ray tracing, vibrant, it's colorful, and the world feels truly alive. And that's not only to do with how it looks, but also how it sounds. I think it's the sound design of this game that's really going to impress you. For example, each individual plant in the game has its own unique 3D positional sound. I don't even know what that means. I think it's to do with you move around the plant and it sounds different depending on where you are. I didn't know plants made sounds. So for example, you just be walking and you can hear the changes in plants and surfaces as you move along. Apparently there's something like 25,000 footstep sounds in the game, which took roughly 2 years for Massive to record. Us humans, we're supposed to be walking something like 10,000 steps a day. That's like a healthy dose of steps. So there's more than double your daily dose of recommended footsteps in this game. You can also hear birds, bugs, creatures, the wind. I don't know if you guys have a game for you that you remember when you put the headphones on for the first time, it was just kind of mind-blowing and like nothing else you'd heard. For me, it was Battlefield 3, way back in, I think, 2010. And then Battlefront 2015, the EA Battlefront, also had the same effect. Hearing the thermal imploders, hearing your footsteps in the snow, it just sounded like a 3D space and like nothing we'd honestly heard before. And this game has a similar effect. When you put the headphones on, you feel like you're in the world, you're fully immersed. It's a living, breathing thing around you. And then something jumps out of the woods and kills you. Or you just fall to your death because, you know, you suck at platforming and you forgot to equip the parachute. There's no parachutes. My ears playing this game were in heaven. It's truly a next-gen sound experience. And I don't think it's like anything you've heard before, and I'm really hoping they take this into Star Wars Outlaws. With the heavy focus they seem to be giving Outlaws on it being the first truly open world Star Wars game, there seems to be an emphasis on the planets feeling alive, and each planet having a different biome, different location. It's gonna feel different. And I think a lot of that is gonna be due to the sound design. So hopefully it's very similar to Avatar in that respect, except with less blue people.
Perfect.
So one of the missions I got to play involved all this platforming to eventually tame Carol, who I got to name based on a choice of all these names in the game. I didn't make Carol. I was trying to find the writer, the developer, who decided to name Carol. I couldn't find them. If you're the one who put the name Carol in the game, please contact me. I wish to speak with you. Now, the platforming in the game made me realize just how big this world is, because you'd be way up high climbing in the trees or climbing in these floating mountains. And if you fall off, you actually fall off and fall all the way to the ground. You plummet all the way to your death. The game makes you feel like you can go everywhere, explore everything, and faceplant anywhere you want. The other thing I should mention, you don't have to have actually watched the films to play and enjoy this game. The story and everything in the game was developed extremely closely with Lightstorm Entertainment, who made the 2 Avatar films, James Cameron's company. But the story in this game is its own thing. I didn't really get a sense of the story because, like I said, we started the game 2 hours in, and that wasn't really the focus of the demo session. But basically, your character has been captured and then is, let's say, frozen in carbonite. And then you've reawoken 15 years later, escaping imprisonment to learn that your world is being overrun by the humans, who are destroying Na'vi culture and destroying the planet. It's up to you to use your somewhat human skills and also Na'vi skills, reconnecting with your heritage to kill all humans. Also, you actually make your own character in this game. You choose different voices, different genders, different appearance. It's a character customizer. There's RPG elements in this game. You can kind of see that in some of the interactions, the dialogue interactions, the way it's not really a cutscene. It's more of just here, you watch this character speaking in front of you. Everything is from the first person because they wanted to put you in the shoes of the Na'vi, feel what it's like to be a Na'vi, explore, roam the world, and reconnect with your inner blue person.
Perfect.
There's also multiple Na'vi clans that you actually interact with throughout the story, go on different missions for, and there are different regions of the map with vastly different biomes. I only got to play in one region, but you're basically reconnecting with your Na'vi heritage, learning new abilities on the skill tree, upgrading your gear, and developing your own playstyle. This mission in particular felt a lot like Far Cry, but in a good way. You have to raid an RDA base and basically disable the facility. And just like a Far Cry game, you have a few options on how you wish to approach this. Either stealthily with some level of skill, or like a total run and gun noob. Yeah. You also have different types of ammo. For example, certain types of arrows will disable the mech suits, and then you can absolutely devastate them with your assault rifle, which is largely satisfying. Here's another example of the impressive sound design. I actually got to watch a live presentation with the game's sound designer, and they explained and showed us how they wanted the bow to feel more powerful than your assault rifle. And I think they achieved that through the sound design. Every surface it hits, every texture, the way you pull it back, everything in the game feels kind of weighty, and there's a satisfaction to that, especially when you nail one of the poor human guards with it. There's also an entire crafting and cooking system, which I didn't really get a chance to try, but you'll be harvesting plants throughout the map. And to be honest, I personally never really find that part of games interesting. I'm more of the run and gun and kill and shoot kind of player. I get lost in side missions and goodness knows what, I still haven't finished Lego Star Wars. But all of this is linked to the PS5 haptic controller. You'll either be more or less successful in harvesting plants depending on how well you refine your touch of the haptic trigger. You can kind of feel the fruit or whatever you're picking in your hand. They've done a really good job of integrating that into the game, and the same goes for using your bow. You'll feel the tension on the string on the trigger as you pull back the bow. It's really impressive. Feels real in a way, except slightly more blue. There's also a hacking system for puzzles, which you'll need to unlock. But let's talk about the day-night system in the game, because it's honestly truly impressive. As far as I know, missions will take place at different times for different players. Like, I saw some of the other people in the room that I was playing with were experiencing the same mission, but at a different time of day. I had this lightning storm during this mission, whereas others didn't. It's a beautiful sunny day. And once again, the sound design of the weather just incredible. Like, you feel like you're in a lightning storm. It's scary. It's scary stuff. Massive have done as much as possible to make the world feel real, alive, interactive, and truly massive. I had to make one massive joke. But all that said, there is still some stuff that worries me. I am concerned, which is also stuff I hope will not be a problem for Star Wars Outlaws. But before I say all this, I just need to mention that I was playing on a demo build. It's not the final build of the game, and the developers were actually sitting next to me, sitting next to all of the gamers that were there playing, capturing content, making notes. The guy I was with was making notes the entire time. I'd be like, I'm completely lost, and he'd be like, interesting. But little did he know that's just normal daily life for me. All right, first of all, I'm worried the world is too big at times and feels a little bit too empty because it's so big. Even though it's full of creatures and plants, I'm not sure there's always a reason to go exploring down on foot, apart from when you're investigating side missions and quests. For the most part, it's probably just easier to stay on Carol for most of the time. Also, running at times, sprinting, felt a little bit slow. Your Na'vi is supposed to be 3 meters tall, blue alien, possessing superhuman strength, but at times it feels like you just run at normal human speed. I want to feel like I'm running like a giant blue person, thank you. So hopefully they can clean this up before launch, especially when you're exploring such a vast open world. But when it comes to Star Wars Outlaws, to be honest, this looks totally fine because number one, you're playing as a human, and number two, you're going to be on the speeder bike for looks like most of the time when you're actually exploring and venturing out into the world, so you're going to be moving pretty quick. Also, I didn't play through any tutorials, but at times I found navigation quite confusing. You have to rely on the HUD to find your way to objectives, and I'm sure you get the hang of it after a while, but you kind of have to learn what you're looking at and what to look for and what the colors and shapes mean, and it was a lot. They've really tried to go for the native HUD, like the immersive experience of not actually putting a minimap. Instead, you're just looking at your screen, which I really like the idea of. I just found it personally confusing at times, but that's potentially because I didn't play a tutorial. Not sure. We'll see how things turn out. Also, I'm pretty sure Star Wars Outlaws is doing a similar thing, which I think is a good thing. In the gameplay we saw, there was no minimap. There's just the compass up the top of the screen, which looks fun. So hopefully that won't be a problem in that game. Also, just wanted to mention they've also already announced a couple DLCs for this game, which are going to be coming out, I'm assuming sometime next year. I don't think they've released an announcement for those yet, but they're coming. So clearly they want to keep this thing running and they see promise, and hopefully that means once Star Wars Outlaws comes out as well, we'll also be getting DLC for that game, because that'd be sweet. More Star Wars content, the better, man. Let's keep the ball rolling. I also just want to mention some of the stuff you can find while exploring is pretty messed up. For example, there are creatures you'll come across who have a dart stuck in them, which you can remove by calmly approaching the creature.
Let me get that. Go on, you're free.
But then there are also times where you come across an animal that's clearly injured and you walk over to it and it dies right in front of you because it drank polluted water or its home has been contaminated by humans in some way. Sad stuff, dark stuff, and pretty cool to see in a game like this, seeing the effect humans are having on the environment. Something to be conscious of, a nice eco-friendly message the game is sending out. But luckily for me, I have Carol to go and absolutely eviscerate all of those evil humans. You get him, Carol. And now that I've played this Avatar game, I'm honestly excited about it. And it's definitely making me excited for Star Wars Outlaws, which we're hoping is going to release sometime next year. But Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is coming out on December 7th, PS5, Xbox, and also PC. What do you think of the game? Do you think it looks good? You're going to play it? You're more excited for Outlaws? Do you think they're going to take what they've done in this and apply it to Outlaws? Let me know in the comments. Huge thank you to Ubisoft for the experience of going overseas. It's such an incredible experience getting to see and meet everyone at Massive. Thanks for being so lovely. And thanks for not kicking me out of the building. I got lots of videos coming up, Star Wars stuff, other stuff, so please subscribe. Let me know if you want to see me play Avatar Frontiers of Pandora when it comes out. That'd be a lot of fun. So maybe we'll do some streaming then. And also, I'm still in Europe, so come follow me on Instagram if you want to see what shenanigans I'm up to. But thanks for watching this. My name's Andrew. I'll catch you soon.